Welcome everyone, and on behalf of FrontierView, thank you for joining our webinar series. On today's webcast, we will be diving into the outlook for developed Asia Pacific in 2021. Over the course of the next 60 minutes, we will be taking a deep dive into the factors driving the economic trajectory of Japan, Australia, and South Korea in 2021. We'll highlight some risks for companies to watch out for, as well as areas of business opportunity. My name is Althea Han, and I'm a Client Services Manager at FrontierView. I'm excited to be moderating this timely discussion this morning. I'm also delighted to be joined by Boyang Xue, FrontierView's Asia Analyst for Northeast Asia, and Kinnari Ganani, FrontierView's Analyst for South Asia and Australia. We would like this to be an interactive discussion, so please be sure to click on the Q&A box on the right-hand side of your screen and send your questions to FrontierView webinars. We will work to get as many questions included in today's discussion as possible. As a reminder, if you are a client, you can access all of our Asia Pacific market intelligence, research, and data on your FrontierView desktop and mobile applications simply by logging on. If you are not a client, for registered attendees of this webinar, we are offering complimentary trial access to FrontierView. To take advantage of this offer, please request a trial in the comment box or visit our website, www.frontierview.com, and click the Request Trial button. Before we get started, we realize that some of you may be new to FrontierView, so I'd like to take a minute to provide you with a quick overview of our firm and how we support multinational executives. FrontierView is a premier global market intelligence and advisory firm. Our primary focus is on serving the market intelligence needs of global business professionals at multinational corporations by informing and powering their market monitoring, strategic planning, and international growth priorities. From the beginning, we built FrontierView to be different in three primary ways. First, our product and service model has been purpose-built to serve a global business audience. In every aspect of our work, we strive to separate signal from noise and answer the so what, now what questions that are unique to the international business professional. The second differentiator is our model, which we call Strategic Intelligence as a Service. FrontierView is the only market intelligence solution that bundles together information resources, analyst advisory access, and a senior executive network into one affordable subscription. Finally, we are especially proud of our world-class technology, which powers the FrontierView desktop and mobile application and has been built with the sole purpose of informing our clients' workflows and decision processes. We are incredibly proud of our client base, which today includes a community of over 4,000 across 240 companies and is growing, and some of which you see here. Again, if you are not a client and are interested in receiving trial access to our FrontierView program, please visit our website and click the Request Trial button. Having briefly introduced our company, I'd like to take a moment to introduce our presenters for today. On the line for today's webinar, we have our analyst for Northeast Asia, Boyang Xue, and analyst for South Asia and Australia, Kinnari Ganani. Boyang and Kinnari support senior executives on key initiatives, including strategic planning, resource allocation, and risk management. For the South Asia, Northeast Asia, and Australia portfolios, with that, I'll hand things over to Kinnari to get us started.
Thanks so much, Althea. So our webinar today will consist of a 50-minute presentation followed by some Q&A. Now, to be specific, we will begin our presentation by talking about some baseline assumptions as well as expectations of the big topic of all our lives for the last 18 months or so, which is the COVID-19 pandemic. And then we'll take a pan-regional view into what economic recovery across the Asia-Pacific region looks like. Boyang will then take us through a deep dive outlook for Japan as the country unfortunately deals with a pretty volatile COVID-19 situation. We'll then move on to myself, where I'll be taking you through our Australia view, and we'll be talking about the opportunity that's presented by the market's pretty strong rebound after the pandemic and some potential pitfalls that may lie ahead. Finally, Boyang will take us through his view for South Korea. And then to wrap this all up, we'll round the session out with some Q&A that we'll take from the audience, as well as present some key actions for our audience as well. So with that, let's begin on the content. Now, let's start off, like I said, with the assumptions about the pandemic. Now, what you see here on your slide, in unfortunately slightly tiny text, are 14 base case assumptions that we have made about the pandemic. Now, these are some really, really specific assumptions that we've made about how the virus might end up evolving, what's the transmission rate going to be like, what are immunity rates like, what's the government response going to be as a result of the pandemic. Now, we have found as a research organization that it has become ever more critical to basically align as an organization to cut through some of the noise that we're hearing from different parts of the world on reinfections, on virus mutations, on potential lockdown measures that the different governments might end up taking. So it does help to basically align internally as an organization, because as you can see here more towards the right-hand side of the chart, and as you will really see as a common thread or a theme across this entire webinar today, that really some of these assumptions, a change in any of these assumptions basically changes to a very drastic extent economic forecast for the market from our end as analysts. And of course, that then feeds into the way that you as an organization would be taking in those forecasts to inform some of your targets and sales as well as demand planning.